I'm here to educate you about some of the misconceptions associated with sex offender registration. The purpose of a sex offender registry is to keep track of the activities of sex offenders, including those who have completed their criminal sentences. Registrants have to periodically appear in person to their local law enforcement to divulge their personal information, like photographs, fingerprints, names, scars, tattoos, living addresses, places of employment, and vehicle information. Failure to register and abide by registration requirements is considered a sex offense. This information is made visible to the public via official websites. The first common misconception is that sex offender registration laws only apply to a small number of dangerous sex offenders. But there is a broad range of crimes that require registration under the law. These crimes range all the way from public urination to a 19-year-old dating a 14-year-old. Regardless of the severity of the crime, registrants are forced to provide the same information, and they are all placed on the registry. In many states, men and women offenders in the registry are subject to these same rules regardless of the crime. The reality of the situation is that in the United States, there are over 800,000 people on sex offender registries, many of whom have committed nonviolent offenses. Additionally, these crimes that require registration, ranging from rape to sexting, are subject to the same restrictions. The public also holds the misconception that sex offender registration means that the individual is simply listed on the registry and that they remain listed only for a short period of time. But this is not the case. The law requires that individuals stay on the registry for decades and even for life. Additionally, offenders are often subject to multiple polygraph tests, and if they wish to leave the state, they must register again in that new state. The harsh reality is that lifetime probation is common for sex offenders, and there are severe restrictions on their ability to be removed from the registry or moved to another state. The law also applies different sets of criteria dictating which tier or risk level the offender is placed under. The purpose of assigning risk level is to determine the level of community notification and duration of registration. This is based on how likely an offender will repeat the same or similar registerable offense and how much danger the offender poses to the community. Many are under the false impression that the most dangerous sex offenders have the highest risk designation on the registry and therefore have the most restrictions on their behaviors and actions. However, focusing specifically in Oklahoma, having sexual relations with an underage partner results in a child molestation designation on the registry and the highest level of risk designation, which is level 3. Additionally, in Oklahoma, in 2014, all sex offenders on the registry, regardless of crime, were permanently banned from all public parks. That being said, sex offender registration laws use arbitrary criteria and faulty evaluation standards to determine the future risk of an offender. Many non-violent crimes are considered a level 3 offense, the highest risk level and the highest threat to the community. And, as we can see, these laws severely restrict individuals' ability to even spend time with their own children in public spaces. Last but not least, the public is led to believe that sex offender registration laws are created by unbiased experts whose goal is to decrease sex offender reoffenses. But let's focus on who creates the laws and their motives for enacting them. Politicians are heavily influenced by the public and are the ones in charge of creating registration laws. More importantly, politicians do not want to be viewed as soft on crime, for the reason that they want to be re-elected. The media and the legislatures have made the harshest laws against sex offenders their current mission, regardless of any evidence to show that these laws reduce sex crimes. So, the norm is to err on the side of public safety when it comes to sex offenders. And while this tactic may appear to be cautionary and effective to the public, this means passing the strictest laws possible. As a consequence, the constitutional rights and humanity of offenders are violated and ignored. So the assumption that these registration laws are created by unbiased experts are indeed false. And that concludes all the information I have for you on the misconceptions of sex offender registry laws.